Okay, I'm continuing with the number of violence question that I did. I think it's been a few days now. So I restarted to the point where I was stuck on. Let me just go through the question again. Number of islands given an m by n 2D binary grid, which represents a map of ones and zeros. Return the number of islands. An island is surrounded by water and is formed by connecting adjacent lands horizontally or vertically. You may assume all four edges of the grid are all surrounded by water. Cool. And then, oh, okay, so I was given test questions. So let me just get rid of that prompt here. I guess I was doing it in a way that I was given like very minimal information. And then we had this example. This is output 2 because there's one there and then one like in this section over here. BFS, time complexity, M and N, because like one of them is going to be like it's like vertices to edges. Like, how do I... Like if I look at this point here, right? That's 0, 0. And then like I'm trying to build the adjacency list. This would be 0, 1. And this would be 1, 0. So these two items are the elements, and then so there's this many number of vertices. So vertices is actually m by n then, right? All these count as vertices. And then these edges, like 1, 2. That's not m by n, is it? I don't know, this part always confuses me. Like how do I, I know this complex, like time complexity is vertices plus edges. It's more like, okay, well, what's the vertices, what's the edges? The vertices here, we're gonna be making this like vertice for every single element in the, every single one at the very least. Worst case, that can be all of them in this grid, which is m by n, right? And then edges, well, that's, how do I calculate edges? I don't know. Let's just say edges, like E stands for these number of edges. It's simple. All right. Visit a queue to be visited. And then, yeah, I guess I just went straight into the code, trying to understand what was going on. One thing I also struggle with is like the import statements. Let me actually try practicing with this too. So I think it's from and then import. So from collections, import queue, and then just do like queue like this, and then I'll just set it to there, and then otherwise, if this doesn't work, I'll set it to an empty list. Where's Q? Q. Yeah, where my Q disappeared. All right, so well, first of all, we need a result. All right, that's going to be the number of islands. We need a visit set. Okay, and actually, we don't need to add it in here. We just need to add it in here. Just keep like the code outside of the BFS minimal. Result plus equals 1, BFS, and then return result. Q. And I'll just set Q here, while Q. While Q, you want to keep on going while the Q has elements in it. Q dot add. Hold on. Yeah, for row and range here for that. Yeah, this is getting annoying, so I'm gonna do rows and columns. Just clean it up a bit. Well, I guess you shouldn't really be cleaning it up at this stage of the code process. That's more of like a afterwards. But I see it, so I might as well just clean it up. And then let me just move this BFS code down here. And then it can like reference rows and columns and all that, so that's nice. For rows and columns. Yeah, I'll just set R in. It's fine, whatever. BFS row and column, and then over here we add grid row and column. Well, that's not gonna work because that's just gonna be a 0 or 1. But we need to add a tuple because we can't add lists to visit because lists are mutable and it doesn't like that, but a tuple is immutable, so it'll like that. Row and column, and then Q what's the command for like Q.append? Maybe, I don't know. Let me just add the visit down here. So while Q, we want these are directions for dr and dc and directions. We also want a way to add to the queue and visit set. So these are directions. If dr, dc, and directions, updated row plus dr, updated column, if updated row and range rows, and, or can we do columns in Python? I think that's just a Swift thing. In range columns, gotta make sure that, and grid row column is an island, so it's equal to 1. And you gotta make sure that row column not in the visit set, not in visit. I'm kind of just speaking from memory because I've seen the solution to this recently, or like a few days ago, I think, when I was doing it. But if all of these are true, then we gotta add it to Q.append updated row, updated column, and visit.add updated row and updated column, and gotta wrap that around. And I think, and what do we pop here? Like q.pop, I think it was pop left. That's a valid command. I'm not even referencing the thing though. Like, where is row defined? Right? So row column like that. Right? Or am I just being silly here? Maybe I'll change this to R and C. And then do this to R and C. Because row and column, this is just going to be that first element, like the, if I had to show an example, just be this one right here. just repeating that, which we don't want. C, updated row and range rows, updated column, yeah, that's fine. R and C, updated, right? Updated row, updated column, and updated row and updated column. Like that. Now, is that going to give me a problem? I hope not. Let me try running this. Wait, hold on. Don't I need to return anything? Was this going through, right? We don't need return type for this. But when it goes through and then goes to the next one, right? And this is not gonna work actually. I need to check if grid row column equal to 1 and row column not in visit. Then we do this. Yeah, okay, that should be better. Let's try running it. Okay, what did I do wrong? Cannot import name queue from collections. How do we, hold on, let me, from queue import collections, that seems wrong. From collections import queue. Let's read the error now. How do we do this? So in a case like this, if I was doing this in an interview, I would just change this queue to a list and go from there. But I know, like, I'm probably gonna think so. Like, this is like a syntax thing, so I can search this up. Probably. Oh, import DQ. Oh, my bad. Okay, and then import DQ. Let's see. Hold on, DQ. Like that? Does that work? Nice. Just 0 should be good. Pop left. Okay, syntax errors, all good. Nice. Submit. Nice. Cool. All right. Let me compare that to the original. Like, this is the code solution they had. So islands, visit, row, columns, queue, collection, queue append, visit, while queue, row, column, directions, for dr plus if range, all these kind of conditions, add this, if not in visit. Yeah, basically the same thing. Yeah, nice. Okay, I'm glad I'm feeling more comfortable with BFS and these graph questions. Awesome. All right, that's all for today.